What's up, guys? Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here on a Monday. We're getting the week started. How in the world are you doing? Here to talk Miami Marlins, how the season's basically gotten underway, how it started, how things are going really just through the first 3 games. But I do have some comments for you guys, some feedback, things to share. And before I get started here with the snippets board, some main topics I just want to discuss. I'll move a little bit closer to the camera just to explain, guys. If you do like the content of this very particular video, go ahead, hit the thumbs up button. That would be awesome. It helps the channel. Go ahead and subscribe to Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. I plan on doing plenty of Marlins videos, at least one a week. As we move into the season, go ahead and hit that notification bell as well to be made aware of future videos as they come out. So let's get into it, guys. Want to talk about the opening series against Tampa. Of course, we know the Rays are a good team, obviously. They took the Dodgers to 6 games, as we recall. They had a pretty decent chance in the World Series there for a while. Actually put up a pretty good fight against the LA Dodgers, but would go down last year. They are the returning champions of the American League. We knew this wasn't going to be a very easy way to get the season started. But when all is said and done, guys, I mean, I can't say I'm that disappointed. The Marlins would get a victory starting the season at 1-2, and with a very strange day off on Sunday. And I say that only because Sunday is a huge day for all major league teams to play. But we've seen these last few seasons a Friday, Saturday, Sunday being given as a day off for whatever reason, particularly in the early part of the season. Not sure why that is. Maybe you have a reason for that or an understanding of that. You can leave that in the comments. By the way, guys, feel free to make a comment as well. Also, if you'd like me to do a video on a certain topic, I will certainly consider that as well moving forward. And basically, guys, let's get into the snippets board and my top points. Marlins start the season 1-2, getting ready for a game today as this video comes out, starting a series with the St. Louis Cardinals. Friday, yes, that was the middle game of the 3-game series with the Rays, and that's where it fell apart, guys. That was when the Marlins hit an early season low point where I'm sitting there going, oh no, is it going to be one of those years? Please, please, it can't be, it can't be. Marlins up 4-2, going into the top of the 9th inning. And what happens in that game? What happens? Oh yeah, you guessed it. A Joey Wendell blast into right field, putting the Rays ahead 5-4. I was crushed. It was a 3-run blast. The Rays that is, add an extra run to go ahead 6-4. That's how Friday's game would end, 6-4, after the Marlins, who were silent, got shut out in the first game. Bats were silent again in game 2, only to come alive. They score 4 runs. Everything's looking good. Like, all right, this is awesome. I'm ready to turn it around. And I know it's a long season, guys. I know it's 162 games. But that was a rough one. That was a rough loss. Let's be honest. That was a tough loss. Anthony Bass, guys, he was the losing pitcher, the closer, the new closer for the Miami Marlins. But everything's going to be fine. I have confidence in Bass, and we'll get back to him in just a second. The bats came alive, though, on Saturday, and as we saw, middle of the game Friday as well. So the bats have woken up. This isn't going to be one of these seasons, thankfully, where the Marlins take like 6-7 games to figure out how to score runs. We've seen that happen before. And of course, Marlins are a playoff team from last year. I know they had the extra playoff spot last year, but we should be okay in the area of scoring runs. And really in winning games. Marlins should be hanging around for a while this year. I would like to think. In a moment, I will get into a little bit more as far as how Saturday's game would go when the Marlins did score 12 runs in defeating the Rays in the third game of that series, 12-7. I wrote the word Donnie here with an exclamation point. Key point I'd like to make right now, Marlins fans, let's take a moment. Let's take a moment and just feel good about the fact that Don Mattingly is our manager. This is a good guy to have as your manager. I'm going to tell you why. Not only was he a successful player, of course, he's now managed in the major leagues for a pretty good amount of years, decent amount of time. As you recall, his years with the Dodgers, taking them to the playoffs on multiple occasions. Also taking the Marlins to the playoffs in 2020, getting to the second round after defeating the Cubs in the first round. Don Mattingly is a really good manager in my humble opinion. Certainly gives me the impression that he's a player's manager. He understands the players. Experience, experience, experience. You really can't substitute for the word experience, guys. And I'm going to give you a specific instance which really tells us a lot of what we need to know about Don Mattingly and his impact. And that is after the Anthony Bass, shall we say, nightmarish ninth inning on Friday, taking the loss in that game, blowing the save, taking the loss. What happens? He brings him back. He brings Anthony Bass back. It was a non-safe situation. Bass would come in, close the game out. He would pitch a scoreless ninth, only threw 9 pitches, would not allow any base runners, and would have a strikeout as well in that inning pitched. Don Mattingly knows he needs his closer back on track. He knows this was a good opportunity the very next day to get him back on track after that rough start to the season for Anthony Bass. That's why Don Mattingly, he knows these things, guys. He knows what goes through the minds. He's been there. He's been in the forever, right? For decades. He's been there. That is just an example of why we should be glad and very happy to have him as our manager for this year and hopefully many more years to come. Moving on, before I get to the bullpen and my thoughts on that, let's just get into a little bit of stars of the game, lineup type stuff from Saturday. Marlins win 12-7. For the Rays, however, I just want to touch on them real quick. They had a good performance. I mean, they also scored 7 runs. I'm not going to get too much into pitching. There really wasn't much in terms of successful pitching for either team on Saturday. But for the Rays, I mean, Manuel Margot would go 2 for 4, a run scored, an RBI. Joey Wendell, the guy who hit that monstrous home run on Friday, comes back on Saturday, goes 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored and an RBI. Yandy Diaz, 2 for 3, a run scored, 2 RBIs. They had Mike Zunino hitting his first home run of the season. He would go 1 for 3, and the home run, obviously, and 2 RBIs. For the Marlins, pretty much everyone got into the act. Most of the Marlins got into the act. Miguel Rojas, who I was ready to say, why are we batting him leadoff? Shouldn't we be batting him a little bit later in the lineup? Well, all Miguel Rojas did was a great job from the leadoff spot on Saturday. He goes 1 for 2, 3 runs scored, and 3 walks. Doesn't get much better than that in terms of setting the table for your team and getting on base 4 times would Miguel Rojas. Sterling Marte had a huge game, batting second, 4 for 5 and an RBI, 3 runs scored. Jesus Aguilar, 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. He wouldn't be a bad fantasy player, by the way. And I want to do a video just on fantasy, share my thoughts on that, so stay tuned for that, guys. Garrett Cooper, like seeing him hitting cleanup. He would hit his first home run of the season, 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, and a run scored. Garrett Cooper, wow, home run, 3 RBIs. And that was most of what happened. John Birdie hitting 7th would go 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. Chad Wallach would go 2 for 3. 2 RBIs. Lewis Brinson, I noticed 0 for 5. We've got to get him hitting. Donnie, we're counting on you, man. Get Lewis Brinson. Get him in that batting cage. We know he could do it. I like Lewis Brinson as a defensive player. He's a big guy. You wouldn't think he's that big. He's a big dude. He's like, I saw him listed as 6'5". I was surprised at that. When I saw his his height and weight there, he's bigger than I thought anyway. And Brinson can come around. I mean, if we can get him hitting, guys, I mean, I know he's kind of a spot starter, but he would go 0 for 5. Only a couple of Marlins, and then Jazz Chisholm would score a run, but he was hitless as well. So, guys, good win for the Marlins Saturday. Before I close this video out, let's just take a moment, think about what a disaster it could have been had the Marlins lost Saturday after blowing that 4-2 lead, starting the year 0-3. But that's not going to happen. We got the Rays series out of the way first, and we're going to play them again. But we got that out of the way. All right, 1-2. You got the Cardinals coming up for 3 games. Pen I wrote only because bullpen's going to be vital. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but guys, as I mentioned in the video last Monday, which you may want to check out, that I did as far as what I thought, as far as my thoughts on the new season for the Marlins, the bullpen's going to be huge. And what I mean by that is we just need to, the Miami Marlins just need to put up average rankings in terms of bullpen. That's all we're looking for. As long as they don't finish like they did last year in the bottom part of the league, 3rd from the bottom in the National League in bullpen effectiveness and efficiency. We can't have that happen again. We need to move up. At least I'm looking for middle of the pack, I think is realistic. Okay, so that's going to be key. Okay, it's going to be key. We can't have the bullpen work. This team isn't good enough to have the bullpen work against them. So they're going to need them to hold strong throughout the season. Coming up next. So as I mentioned, we got St. Louis at home, 3 games. So the last 10 games look like this, guys. St. Louis, 3 games at home. Then the Marlins will go on the road. At New York Mets for 3 and at Atlanta for 4. So let's hope for how about 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals? Is that asking too much? 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals gets you a 3-3 record going into New York. You know, we want to be okay, at least somewhat okay going into, that Brave series isn't going to be a walk in the park at all, or anything even close to that. The Braves got a really good team this year. But things are looking okay. Only 3 games in, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you haven't done so yet, I will talk with you soon. Go Marlins. Plenty of baseball left. I'll catch you next time.